It is warm in here today because it's summer. It is finally summer. And you know what my favourite thing about the summer is? It's going into a room and sharing a small space with thousands of strangers so I can watch theatre. Occasionally, it'll be air conditioned. Oh my god, hey! Welcome back to my theatre-themed YouTube channel. If you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Mickey Joe and I'm obsessed with all things theatre. So as a theatre critic and content creator, I've been getting a lot of messages and emails from people who are coming to London this summer and want to know which shows they should be seeing. Because I talk about a lot of different shows here on my channel, and there are many things, both old and new, that I think people should really be booking tickets for this summer. So to make everyone's lives easier, I thought I would make this video where I count down 10 of the top musicals I am recommending to people visiting London this summer. And I'm going to try and point you in different directions based on the shows that you might have liked before or the kind of thing that you might be looking for. Now, it goes without saying there is also a tremendous amount of fantastic theatre that you can see this summer in the UK outside of London. Places like the Leicester Curve and Sheffield Crucible and Chichester Festival Theatre and the Watermill Theatre and the Barn Theatre in Cirencester. In every corner of the country there is fantastic work happening, and I encourage you to seek all of those out as well. But in terms of tourism, a lot of people are coming to London specifically, and so that is what I'm basing this video on. Also, I am going to be talking about musicals, but that's not to say there aren't some fantastic plays happening in London this summer as well. So here are 10 musicals I recommend that you see in London this summer. So if you're looking for a completely unique theatrical experience that really basks in the glory of the British sunshine, then you need to check out Regent's Park Open Air Theatre. This is one of my favourite theatres in the country, in the world. In fact, I can prove it to you. Oh my gosh. I have here at my feet a framed seating plan from Zitart of Regent's Park Open Air Theatre. There you go. So this is an outdoor amphitheatre venue in Regent's Park, in one of the parks in London, and every year they stage a series of shows. It was their production of Into the Woods years ago that first made me really fall in love with theatre. This year, among other things, they are staging 2 musical revivals. I've already been to go and see their production of Once on This Island, which recently closed. You can watch my review of that one if you're intrigued about what that production was like. But they're also going to be staging a revival of La Cage aux Folles. They have recently announced casting, and it's the creative team that already had me very excited, because we have Stephen Mear choreographing and we have artistic director Timothy Sheeder directing. I have loved his work on both plays and musicals, and I think this might be the last thing he's directing at the venue before he leaves to become the artistic director of the Donmar Warehouse. Don't quote me on that timeline-wise, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Now, La Cage is a lovely show, perhaps best known for the song I Am What I Am. It's based on the same French play that the film The Birdcage is based on. It's about an older gay couple who have to pretend to be heterosexual parents so that their son can introduce a more conventional and heteronormative family to his very conservative soon-to-be in-laws. But the whole thing is a farce with a heavy helping of drag, talking about authentic queerness. It was really very trailblazing at the time when it first premiered on Broadway, and I have a tremendous amount of fondness for this show, having seen it before. But it's one of those shows that sort of always looks quite similar in the way that it's staged, and what I am so ready for is a completely different revival, and that's what Regent's Park sometimes does best. Not only are the shows in a completely unique setting where you have no walls and no roof, and you have trees behind, and you're sat in an outdoor amphitheatre, and maybe a bird will fly onto the stage, maybe a plane will go past overhead, but they are known for taking huge creative swings. They have completely reinvented shows like Carousel and Little Shop of Horrors and various other musicals, Legally Blonde last year. And I'm so intrigued to see what they're going to do with La Cage aux Folles. And I say to anyone who has never been before, everyone must visit Regent's Park Open Air Theatre once in their lives. So if you haven't been and you're coming to London this summer, get yourselves to Regent's Park. If you don't mind having a slightly wider view of the stage, you can also book to sit on the banks of grass at the side next to the seated areas, and you can bring a picnic. Like, come on now, book a matinee and have an idyllic experience. Or book an evening show and let the sun slowly set over the show. I think with La Cage aux Folles, knowing the structure of that musical, that's actually going to work very well. If you're looking for something that is just going to make you laugh, let me tell you about the funniest and one of the cleverest musicals currently in London. Operation Mincemeat is a show put together by Spit Lip Theatre. It's recently opened at the Fortune Theatre, having crawled its way towards a West End home. It's this little show that could, which was bouncing between different off-West End venues. It's played at the New Diorama, it's played at the Southwark Playhouse, it went back to the Southwark Playhouse, it went to Riverside Studios, and now finally it's in the West End where it belongs. And the glow up that this show has had, courtesy of new creatives Ben Stones and Robert Hasty, in collaboration with the brilliant Spit Lip Theatre, they have birthed something truly extraordinary. It's a hilariously funny show that has appeal to people of all ages, but I think in particular people in your 20s, anyone who was a Star Kid fan. This is Star Kid with a much more British sensibility. It's a story about a real World War II operation that helped turn the tide during the war, but it's performed with such tongue-in-cheek brilliance. It's incredibly clever, it's beautifully stupid, which is my favourite combination of things. I have so much love for this show, and it might have become a big awards winner by this time next year. Previously in its life, it has already won the Evening Standard Award for Best Musical. That is a coveted title. And to have achieved that so early in its development, this is a fantastic show. If you're from London, you might have seen their marketing already claiming to be the best reviewed musical in West End history, and I don't know if that's strictly true, but it's definitely up there with the amount of 5-star reviews that this production has attained. Amongst the hilarious moments, there is heartbreaking sincerity. This is really a show that has it all. Next up, if you're looking for something semi-immersive that falls somewhere between a concert experience and a traditional show, then I have another recommendation for you. So currently playing at the Bridge Theatre, the semi-immersive revival of Guys and Dolls has to be seen to be believed. I have done a full review of this on my channel. You can go and check out that if you want to know a little bit more about this production, but my recommendation is that you go to this and specifically you book one of the standing tickets. Yes, you will be standing for the duration of the show, which is somewhere around 2.5 hours, but because that standing arrangement is fluid and dynamic and so engaging, it doesn't feel like you're standing up for a long time. It just feels like you're at this amazing concert experience, but where the concert is a traditional musical comedy. Essentially what happens is you have this flat floor area where people with standing tickets are admitted, and the stage is set up in the round, kind of like a boxing match, and different sections of hydraulic staging rise up out of the floor to create different configurations of the stage around which the standing audience is shepherded by some incredibly hard-working front-of-house team members. And stage management. I really don't know who is doing what, but it is a well-oiled machine of staff members. It's interactive and engaging. You get water squirted on you, you get given things to shake around and instruments during the Havana sequence, and the show itself that you're actually watching on stage has this exciting new life that has been breathed into it. The casting is exemplary. Performers like Celinda Schoenmaker and Marisha Wallace and Daniel Mays and Andrew Richardson giving fantastic performances in this show. A few years ago, Cabaret was the absolute hit of the town, and now Guys and Dolls has achieved that same level of success. It's the show that people are talking about. Every time I recommend this to someone and they go and see it, they have the best experience ever. It's just a complete knockout. If you're hugely and completely opposed to something classic, then perhaps this material still won't quite be for you, but I would encourage you to give it a try because it feels so new and so dynamic. It's pacey, it's exciting, and I think it's just wonderful. Next up, if you're looking for your next adolescent musical theatre obsession, kind of like Heathers or Mean Girls, then I encourage you to go and check out Halls at the Turbine Theatre. This show is having a development run this summer because it's still in a formative stage, but having been to 2 workshop performances of this already, I can tell you the material is already so well honed. The show is about a group of university students living together in flat 15B in their first year of the university experience as freshers, and their characters are just wonderful. It's a full ensemble cast situation. They've each been given such authentic characterizations. So many different backgrounds are reflected. These are absolutely indicative of people that you might have met during a university experience if you've been to university. Or if you're thinking about going to university in a few years' time, then this might ready you for that experience. We have all of the fun songs that you might expect. There are unexpected romantic attachments. There are sort of moments of beautiful and emotional self-discovery. There's a drinking game song. I think it's really fantastic and absolutely has the capacity to be that next big thing like a Heathers. I think young people should really go and see this musical. If you liked some of those other shows I mentioned, go and give this one a chance. I think you're really going to get into it. The cast haven't officially been announced yet, but I have been hearing some exciting names in the mix, and you'll be finding out about those very soon as well. Keep your eyes peeled on my social channels. It's great to be able to support new musical theatre writing and go and see it at the absolute ground level so that when it becomes this huge thing, you can say you saw it back at the beginning. I will always have the bragging rights that I once saw Six the Musical in an inflatable purple cow in Edinburgh. This is your chance to do the same. Now, if you're looking for heart-pumping choreography, I would encourage you to go and see Grease at the Dominion Theatre. And I know a lot of people in the theatre world might turn their nose up at Grease because this for a long time has been thought of as something for tourists and for slightly more casual theatregoers perhaps, but I'm here to tell you that this revival of Grease is so fresh, is so exciting, is so galvanising. I really enjoy it. I saw it last year and then I was invited again this year to the gala performance. It is a hugely talented cast led by Dan Partridge and Olivia Moore, featuring wonderful breakout performances from Jocasta Almgill, who is playing Rizzo in a way that Rizzo has never really been played before. There's a rawness and an edge and an honesty to these characterizations that takes Grease back to its roots as a show that's all about puberty and adolescent sexuality. It's much grittier and spicier than the film version that you may know. But if you want surefire entertainment, it contains all of the songs that you already know that you love as well. You have Summer Lovin' and You're the One That I Want and Grease Lightning and everything else from the damn megamix that we've all heard so many times. But the star of this production is absolutely the choreography by Dame Arlene Phillips. They use the entire extent of the vast Dominion Theatre stage to dance effortlessly. The dance is high energy, it's masculine, it's frenetic, and it's fantastic. Depending on what performance you see, you may also see one of a rotating cast of a few star names. Jason Donovan, Peter Andre, and Louise Redknapp are all sharing a couple of roles in this show, so check on the website to find out who you might be seeing. For anyone who saw Grease last year, they've made a couple of changes, and I think the show is in just slightly better shape. Changes to some of the costuming, little tweaks to the characterizations help me to love the storytelling of it a lot more than I did the last time I saw the show. It's just an easy and fun watch. It's going to entertain you, it's not going to challenge you, and if that's what you want, then Grease is the word. If you're looking for something of the more classic variety, then one of the best shows I saw last year is opening in the West End in just a few weeks. The glorious Susan Stroman directed and choreographed revival of Crazy for You is about to open at the Gillian Lynn Theatre starring Charlie Stemp. There is so much I could say about this show. I will be reviewing it on press night in a few weeks' time. Stay tuned for that. You can go and watch my review from the Chichester production last year, but I think this production is sublime. Not since Anything Goes was at the Barbican in the West End have I experienced such euphoria watching these dance numbers. I was just giddy. The staging of them is so clever and inventive and whimsical. It's masterfully choreographed and directed, and Charlie Stemp's performance is an utter star turn. We have seen him rising through the ranks to leading man status with performances in Mary Poppins and Half a Sixpence and Hello Dolly on Broadway, and what he achieves on stage in this show is utterly glorious. He is just a fantastic, hugely talented leading man. I would describe this show as unadulterated, sheer theatrical bliss. If you like anything classic, if you like sweeping choreography and gorgeous Gershwin music, then this is absolutely going to be the show for you. And you just might see me there because I am doubtless going to be going a few times. Why, you ask? Because I'm crazy for Crazy for You. If you're looking for what might be the most crowd-pleasing show in town with songs that you already know, then may I suggest The Choir of Man at the Arts Theatre. This is another little show that has been going from strength to strength and is currently enjoying a very successful run at the Arts Theatre, where they have created an onstage pub called The Jungle. It features a cast of hugely talented male vocalists who sing in beautiful harmony, but also speak about identity and, again, emotional authenticity and mental health. It's like the best night in a pub you're ever going to have. It's soulful and uplifting and fist pumping. I was at West End Live recently, and this was absolutely the most crowd-pleasing show of the entire day. It was just so fantastic. The way people responded to this music and the stellar vocals that these guys were delivering. But there's this profound layer of heart and community that goes beneath all of that. If you're someone who has ever found a pub space to be a little bit alienating to you and not really welcoming, then get ready for the most inclusive and accepting and heartwarming pub that you've ever seen in your life. All of which is honestly just an afterthought to how great this music is and how brilliant these guys are. You cannot help but get a huge smile on your face watching this show. And you can actually go and get a pint from the onstage bar. When we're talking about unique, semi-immersive theatrical experiences, let's talk about that one. Honestly, if I liked beer, I'd have done it already, but they do not serve rosé. If you're looking for a new British musical with one of the best scores that I have heard in years, then you need to go and see Ride at the Southwark Playhouse Elephant. So this relatively new show about Annie Londonderry, a woman who cycled around the world, is going to be cycling its way back down to London, opening in a relatively new venue, Southwark Playhouse Elephant. This is a really interesting new space in Elephant and Castle, and this show is just wonderful. The brilliant Liv Androusier is returning to the role of Annie Londonderry. She was incredible in the show at Charing Cross when I saw it last summer twice, and I've been following this show for a few years, and I have been incredibly loud on social media about the love that I have for it. I think it's one of the best written scores that I have heard in such a long time. I think Freya Catherine Smith and Jack Williams, the writers, are enormous talents. I'm very excited to see the new additions to the cast for this run, but it's a brilliant show that's kind of all about storytelling. She tells you about this incredible feat as she is pitching herself kind of to the audience. Who she's really talking to is a panel who are going to decide if she gets given a job as a columnist at a newspaper. But you come to understand what a fascinating character she is. She is vivacious and dynamic with just a hint of something lingering beneath the surface that she's not quite ready to reveal until later in the show. But something beautiful happens with the staging as it becomes slowly more and more theatricalized, the world around her, as she is telling this story, and we are pulled into it. And the momentum of this score, you can go and watch my review about this, you can go and watch my reaction video listening to the cast recording, which has just recently come out. You might not want to listen to all of the songs before you see the show because you might get some vague spoilers, but I encourage you to go and listen to the song Ride, and then you will instantly know what I'm talking about when I say that this is so catchy and just brilliant. Brilliant musical theatre. Please go and see it. If you're looking for something cultural, then I would suggest that you go and see the Pulitzer and Tony Award winning musical A Strange Loop, which is about to open at the Barbican. This is the show's UK premiere, but it's the American production which is being brought over, which doesn't happen always, and I'm very excited about that. The show, written by Michael R. Jackson, is about a character named Usher. He is a black gay writer writing a musical about a black gay writer who is writing a musical about a black gay writer. And the show speaks so directly and so viscerally and so movingly to the black gay experience, to the black queer experience, to the fat black queer experience. There's so much that this has to say about identity, and if you are someone from anywhere within that Venn diagram, then this is going to affect you as well. If you are a black person, this is a great opportunity for you to expose yourself to an LGBT story. If you are a queer person, this is a fantastic and important opportunity for you to expose yourself to a black queer story. I haven't seen this show yet. Again, I am going along on press night and there will be a review video here on my channel, but from having listened to the cast recording and followed along its journey closely, what emerges about this show is the way that it just speaks about identity. It's hugely affecting. It's also a little bit adult and graphic and occasionally challenging. This is absolutely art that is going to challenge you and provoke you in many ways. For a white audience, this is not art that is necessarily for you, and I think it's all the more important that we engage with that and experience something like that is going to challenge us. Evidently also not a show for a child audience, but if you're looking for something that is going to inform you, that is going to instruct you and provoke, I think again is a really good word for this show. I'm so excited about it coming over here. It has won all of the major awards in New York. It's an incredible piece of musical theatre. I've heard great things about Kyle's performance as Usher. I got to go to a preview event of the show at the Royal Vauxhall Tavern. I got to hear them singing through some of the songs and it sounded just delicious. I'm so excited to see this show, you should be as well. I also think, I'm not done talking about this, that there's something really important about engaging with art that is not specifically for us. If I was to only go and see things that reflected my own lived experience, then I wouldn't get to see an awful lot of theatre. And when we talk about culture, that's not the way that people really behave. People don't look at ancient exhibits in museums and say, well, that's not really about me, so I don't get it. Aside from the fact that this common humanity that we share is exactly how you are going to connect to this character. Just because they don't look like you, just because they don't navigate the world in the same way that you do because of our different privileges and lived experiences, doesn't mean that they don't have something profoundly important to say to you. So black people, go enjoy this show, specifically black gay people, you have earned this show. White people, specifically white gay people, go and listen to this show. It's important. Now this is a big one. If you are looking for the best show in town, the best musical on right now in the West End, then you need to go to the Old Vic Theatre to see Groundhog Day. So this was one of my most recent reviews here on my channel. If you haven't watched it already, go and check it out. Not to plug myself, but Tim Minchin said some very nice things about my review, and I'm still not over that, so I'm going to keep bringing it up. But I do think that this is the most exciting, thrilling thing that I've seen in a very long time. And the brilliance of this show is the way that it's structured. It's completely unique. In the first half hour, I was like, yes, this is good, this is fine, but it hadn't bowled me over. And this cumulative effect that it has, where it just gains more and more momentum, leading us into one of the best second acts of musical theatre I think I have ever seen, where not a single minute is wasted on that stage, where we peel back everything we thought we knew from the first act. If you don't know the story of Groundhog Day, it's about a weatherman who is trapped in this cycle of one day that's repeating again and again and again, and only he knows that this is happening, and he is stuck and he can't break out of this experience, and only when he comes to see people for who they are beyond his preconceptions and beyond his sort of shallow understanding of the town that he finds himself in, does he begin to find a way to live with all of this. It's a beautiful show. The score is complex and ingenious and fascinating. The characters are hugely endearing. The staging is mind-blowingly impressive. Some of the illusions that they managed to do, just mind-boggling stuff. And if you're visiting London with someone who is reluctant about like jazz hands musicals, that is nothing like what this is. This is just like watching a really great film. You know when you watch a really great film and everyone, regardless of their demographic, just agrees, you know what, that was a really great film. This is a really great show. It's not glitz and sparkles and kick lines. It's this genius marriage of a script to music and brilliant characters. It has so much to tell you about human nature. It's funny, it's devastating, it's dark. It's so, so good. Honestly, so, so good. And if I have to keep telling you that again and again and again, wink, then I will. But those have been my recommendations for 10 musicals that you can see in London this summer. Like I said, there are some very exciting shows beyond London as well. Travel around the country and go and check out some more amazing theatre. There is so much exciting stuff happening this year. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you have enjoyed. If you are planning a London trip this summer, let us know in the comments section what shows you're planning on seeing. Oh my gosh, if you're from the UK, if you're from London, let us know what shows that you would recommend to people as well. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe to my theatre-themed YouTube channel. Go and check out the review videos for the shows that I've mentioned in this one, and make sure you're subscribed so you do not miss the reviews that are going to be coming soon. Also, if you want to see those videos before everyone else does and gain access to some exclusive content, click on the link in the description and you can sign up to become one of my channel members. I hope that everyone is staying safe and that you have a stagey summer.
For 10 more seconds, I'm Mickey Joe Theatre. Oh my god, hey, thanks for watching, have a stagey day. Subscribe!